Well, hello all. If you have a GoPro and you have the media mod, you kind of know that this is kind of a pain to tighten up on the camera. Alright, so I figured I'd show you here. This is extremely hard to get into. See, you can't even turn it, especially with the media mod on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a longer one of these with a little bit bigger of a thumb screw on the end of it here, so it's a little bit easier. So I had this piece here kind of marked out. So we're going to make it from that end all the way up to here much longer, so it's going to be 2 1/4 inches longer. And we'll go ahead and put the thumb screws on this and everything. And then as for this, I'm not going to go ahead and thread this because my lathes aren't set up for metric tapping or threading. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably drill and tap this for this thread, which is M5.8, and then we'll take and put a stud in there, and then we'll use thread locker. I think it's a thread locker 290, which is pretty much permanent, and then that should stay fine. I mean, because you don't really crank these down very tight, but it'd be really nice to be able to actually tighten it up, because sometimes I have a hard time, especially with big fingers. You can't get in there to tighten it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ball end mill on the mill, and we're going to come in here and make the 4 notches, these 4 notches here. So that's what this line here is I'm going to start in here and take it to here. And then I'm going to clamp this side in the lathe and turn all this in here. And then, because I'm going to try to copy this pretty much as close as I can. It doesn't have to be, but that's what I'm going to do. So here's the ball end mill we're going to use. And it might be hard to see on the camera here, but it's pretty much the exact same. I mean, it's really close. I won't say it's exact, but it's pretty close to that. And then for the radiuses and stuff, I was looking through my tools, and this is really close to that radius it's in there, and really close to that radius it's there. So we're going to use that. And I did have to grind this one a little bit to get in there, but it was close. But you can see it's almost perfect too. So that'll get us close enough. So here's the three bits we're going to use, other than some other small lathe cutters or whatever. So why don't we get started? All right, so I got everything set up in the mill here. Here's our ball end mill. What we're going to do is we're going to drop the bit in here. We're probably going to drop it down maybe 1/8 inch and see what it looks like. Then we'll rotate it. But we're going to run it in, and then we're going to run it all the way up to this. So let's get started. So it don't really look too bad. The only thing I'm thinking is I might want to drop it down just a little bit more. So let's do that. Let's go set ourselves back at 0 here. And since I went 1/8 inch, I don't know, let's maybe take it to 200 thousandths and see what it looks like. Alright, it looks pretty good. It might be a little bit deep. Maybe I should have stuck with 125, I don't know. But I still think it'll be kind of nice, so let's get this thing out of here and put it on the lathe and get the rest of it finished up. Alright, I got everything clamped up here in the lathe, and I'll put it in my little lathe since I didn't really need the big lathe for this. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn it all the way up to this line, and we're going to turn it down to a 1/2 inch. Once we get it to a 1/2 inch, we'll do our step in at this line, which we'll remeasure since I'll be taking that line off, and then we'll use our other cutters over for that. So this is almost 1 inch round, so we got quite a bit of material come off. We got 1/2 inch material. So let's get to it. Alright, we should be relatively close here. That's what I thought. We need 33 more thousandths. And these dimensions obviously aren't critical, but this will be the final pass. Alright, so now we can get our other bits set in here and get everything cut down. What we're going to do is we're going to mark off 100 thousandths from this end and put a marker line on it. And then we'll put the other bit in too and start radiusing that over. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since I can't get up here as far as I want to do, is I'm going to pull the bit back out and we're going to place it roughly in here, and then I'm going to drive that in there all the way until I can see it get smoothed out. So let's see how it does. And with round bits here, you've got to kind of spin it relatively slow. It's a lot of material we're taking off. And we're going to leave it right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our other round over bit in there and start working on that side. All right, let's see how this does. Okay, that don't look too bad. I've been debating whether I wanted to turn this outer diameter down just a little bit because it seems awful big, and then we can use emery cloth and get it smoothed down just a little bit. So I think that's what we're going to do. If we have to put that bit back in to get it to round over a little bit more, we will. These just feel a little bit too deep, so I think I'd like to turn them down just a little bit. So even that don't feel too bad, so we might just leave it at that. I'm going to see if I can still sneak this round over in here. It's getting a little close, but I think we can get a little bit in there. And honestly, that don't look too bad. These still are a little bit deep. They're not terrible yet, so I think we're going to go with it. It'll be nice to be able to tighten it up real nice so your fingers fit in there quite nice, it feels like. So that might be pretty nice. Okay, so a couple last things we got to do is, remember, we're going to drill and tap into here, and then the other thing is just part it off. So let's get that set up. Alright, so I got the spot drill in here. We'll go ahead and get this spotted in. That's about all we need. Alright, so the drill bit for that, what we're putting in there is an M5 0.8 thread. The drill bit is 4.2 millimeters. So we're going to go ahead and get this drilled. We're not going to put this bit in here crazy far. We're thinking maybe an inch. So, all right. Alrighty. What we're going to do is we're not really going to power tap it unless it goes real well, but we're going to use it to get it started. So then what we'll do is we'll take the bit out, back this guy off, and then we'll hand tap it the rest of the way. We'll pull it out and clean it off. And there we are at bottom. All right, so now that that's tapped, there's only a couple more things to do here. So what we're going to do is we are going to put our cutoff tool in here, and we're going to go ahead and get this cut off. So how big do we want to make it? My original thought was about a 1/2 inch from the edge of this here, so to me that looks pretty good, so I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to set this to 0 here. Okay, and then before we cut this off, there's one thing that we want to do real quick is let's break the edges here. This isn't really the tool I wanted, but it'll work. And just put this right in there. And I want to bring it in just a little bit more. Yep, I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and finish cutting it off. There we have it. You know, I like it, but it's not how I was kind of hoping. You can see it's kind of similar. I actually think it would have looked better if I would have made it the whole way across. But it still looks pretty good. Last thing to do is let's get these threads cleaned out and then get our stud in there. Alright, so there you have it. Here's the stud we need to put in there. And here's the previous piece. You can tell it's a lot longer. Like I said, if I had to do it over again, I think I would change how I did this. But it's not too bad. It still looks pretty decent. So last thing to do is get this in there. Like I said, it's I believe it's Loctite 290s, the permanent one. I guess we're going to find out. All right. And that should be it. You can see it's roughly the same length, everything. So there you have it. I am going to let this sit overnight, cure, and then we'll take and test fit it and see how it works. Until next time, enjoy. Alright everyone, I'm going to kind of follow up with the last part of this here. This is the thumb screw I'm talking about, and you can see how far it is underneath here, especially with the media mod. It's extremely hard to get in here, especially with big fingers. And so usually what I end up doing is rotating the camera as I'm turning it to try to get this on and off tight enough. And you know, I don't like that. So let's take this out and see how the new one fits. So there's our new one. And look how far out it brings it. And look at that. I can tighten it up real nice. In fact, it's a lot more stable than it was before, because probably I can get it tighter. So this is definitely a really nice upgrade for the GoPro. The downfall is it does stick out, so if you have it on something, you know, you can bump it on something or whatever. So you have to be careful with that. But all in all, really like the mod. I think I would change this thumb screw a little bit. It looks alright, but I think it could look better. But this is something that I just thought of real quick to do. But I still like it. So I'll probably make another one in the future. Now I have seen aluminum, I think they're aluminum anodized pieces. You can replace all this for these GoPros. And by all means, they're not very expensive. I just went ahead and made this because I had all the aluminum and had everything here. So why not? Till next time, take care.